Hi there, welcome back to the channel. Just got back, been back a few hours now from Carsington Water. So drove up there today with Pete this morning for the National Duathlon Champs. So first sort of hit out for the year really. I was really unwell over Christmas, so I've managed to have a sort of 5-6 week sort of block. Not ideal as I sort of missed the big 4-week block, sort of December through to early January, where I was really working on some high volume sort of stuff. So I sort of followed my training program, and after Christmas I was sort of starting to do some of the quicker stuff and faster stuff ready for the national champs today. So missed that real good intense 4 or 6 week block because of my illness over Christmas. So I sort of went into today feeling a little bit apprehensive, didn't know how I was going to go, to be fair. I've had a good 5 or 6 weeks sort of training, but as I said, it was sort of race prep training. So without doing that block to begin with, I think the preparation over the last 5-6 weeks hasn't been as good as I'd have liked going into today. So I just wanted to go out really, just test the legs. I haven't raced at all since, I think now, December, so it's about 3 or 4 months since racing. So the run was going to be a challenge, and even the bike. I mean, you can do the efforts on the turbo, you can go out with the club, but it's a slightly different to racing. I've not really been out on the TT bike or got many miles in on that either, so I don't tend to use it on the turbo. So without sort of doing any races in and over Christmas, I was a bit sort of unsure how today went. So Pete picked me up about 5:30 this morning. Had a good night's sleep. I tried to get a better night's sleep on Friday. I try and get an early night's sleep on the Friday because sometimes I don't sleep that well before race day. So got up 5:30. Had a couple of pots of Quaker oats, the sort of little pots that you can sort of do in the microwave. Got the kit ready. Pete picked us up. Luckily, he's got a big Volvo, so we managed to just put the bike straight in the boot without taking the wheels off. So that was great, and it's about an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes up to sort of Derbyshire. So slightly unusual distances actually. Normally, the standard distance I race is 10k, 40k, and 5k. This was actually a 12k first run around the reservoir, and then it was sort of about 40k, probably a little bit over on the bike, and then a 4k run to finish. So it was pretty cold, to be fair. I thought there was a few flakes of snow and stuff when we got there. So I sort of wore a Rafa Rafa thermal, like a knitted sort of string vest type thermal. And then I actually wore a Huxon thermal, and then I wore my tri-kit because I was a bit worried about getting cold, and I wore my slightly thicker Huxon gloves as well. Just I don't carry a lot of weight, so sometimes I feel the cold a little bit more than most people. So just wanted to make sure that, more so on the bike, that I was keeping warm. So first run started at 8:30. First run, I sort of ran well through sort of 5k, 3 miles, so just over 17:30 sort of pace. Tried to not overdo it, especially with it being a 12k, especially with me now racing as well. So I tried to run as even paced as I could. I thought it was going to be a bit flatter than it was. It was actually quite an undulating run in and around the lake, to be fair, or the reservoir. It's a couple of little inclines, nothing really staggering, but a couple of little bites that really got you, especially on the second half of the run. So I ran pretty well. I ran with my mate Sam through about 4 mile. I sort of started to lose a bit of time over the last sort of 3 mile. I picked one person up. I think one person come past me. It was one of those sort of days so I managed to sort of come in on the run feeling all right. I think the quads were a little bit achy, just again doing a lot of my work on the trails and on the grass and not really racing. I think just missing that sort of fifth gear in a way. I was just not quite on it today, but pretty solid run. And then I thought, okay, let's get on the bike. And the bike course is a really undulating course in and around Carsington. Derbyshire, you can imagine, but there was some good climbs. I think it was 2,000 foot of climbing over about an hour and 18. I think I did for the bike. So quite an undulating course. I think I averaged just under 20 mile an hour. I can't remember, I think my watts are about 215. So for me, my watts were really down on where I normally am, and I don't know whether that was maybe the 12k run, whether that was just fitness, whether it was also the fact that there was a lot of climbing on the course, but then there was a lot of descending where we weren't sort of able to maintain the power, so it wasn't a sort of flat circuit where you could maintain consistent power. So I didn't ride too bad. I've rode a lot better. I think, in all honesty, I was probably a good few minutes down on where I should be, probably 3 or 4 minutes. I think just not being able to do that work and missing that work over Christmas, that sort of 4-week block. There's only so much you can do over sort of five weeks, really. And so I felt okay, but I think I could tell from the bike sessions that I've been doing with the club over the last few weeks that my numbers aren't quite there, and actually I'm not quite hanging on to the group that I normally would in my bike on my Saturday sort of club run. So and then the final run, I think really difficult as well. I think it was very cold. I think nutrition wise, I tried to get as many gels down me, but it was so cold on the bike that fluid intake, I didn't really take much fluid on the bike. It's something I really need to work at and really sort of get used to drinking those fluids, even in the cold weather. I think something I'm not very, very good at. On the turbo, I drink a lot, and basically on the bike, I just didn't really drink much. I think mainly because it was cold. I had a gel just before the start. I had a gel in the second transition, or in the first transition when I came in before I went out on the bike. And the bike, it was a very undulating, hilly sort of bike loop. I think I probably maintained my position. I lost a couple of places, pulled a couple of places back. Generally, I think I probably would have been 3 or 4 minutes quicker than I normally would have. I think there's Sam, who I normally race with. I think he was probably a minute quicker than me, and I've taken 2 or 3 minutes plus out of him normally on a bike. So a bit of work to be done there. But and then the final run, I think I came off the bike pretty cold, as everyone was really, and managed to peg back one person on the run. And I ran okay-ish on the second run. Again, I think just fitness just wasn't quite there. I wasn't quite hitting with that sort of missing block of training. I wasn't quite hitting where I wanted to be. But so finished the race. I think it was about 2 hours 20, 2 hours 22. Quite a longish race. I mean, duathlons can vary from, on a quick course, you could be looking at 1:50, to a longer course like today with a lot of hills, you can be looking 2:20 for me. So there's a good variance of like half an hour depending on the type of course that we're racing on. So all in all, the race went okay. I think for me, for my fitness, I think I probably got quite a bit out of myself today. I think the legs just probably weren't quite there with lack of training. But on the plus side, I came away with a bronze. So that's my 3rd medal in the nationals. So I've a silver and 2 bronzes now. I think I was 2 minutes off winning my age category. So I think frustratingly, I think missing that work, I think there's an opportunity missed this year with that. I think in reality I should have been going for the win. So I think that's a missed opportunity this year. But on the flip side, happy to come away with a podium, getting the Huxon name up on the podium as well, which is always nice. So I can't grumble with that too much. So now I've tomorrow starts my next block. So I've got a 20-week block now of my sort of 40 kilometre TT training schedule again. So I start that again tomorrow, ready for the summer season now, and back on the run sessions as well. So Simon King, my coach, he's given me some good run sessions to keep me going now. Next up, I think we've got the 12 stage, Midland 12 stage for Western Tempo. So I'll be looking to do that. I think that's the 1st or 2nd of April, early April. Then we've also got possibly Storm the Castle, which is at Ludlow, which is a local Shropshire race to me. So I might go over and do that, which is sort of end of April. Then on May the 1st, I've got my bike fit, so I'm looking forward to having a bike fit with Matt Bottrell, so looking forward to getting that done on May the 1st, and then I think May the 8th, I've got my first sort of TT hit out, so on, I think it's the quick sort of course, F11/10, I think it is. I'll put that down in the description, but yeah, so hopefully a quick course, so I'm hoping that I can get a bit of a tweak to the position. I think I'm looking to upgrade the front end on the Factor, so and I'm going to see Matt to try and have a look at what we can do there to see if we can get some marginal gains on the position, which I think I can. I think I've still got a bit of work to do on that, and hopefully as well I'm getting another 4 or 5 weeks sort of blocking. We're through the worst of the winter now, so sort of get back on the commute as well, so I've missed that over Christmas, so I've sort of started back on the commute into work, so that's given me some extra mileage as well, so hopefully hopefully the next sort of 5-6 weeks can be really positive, get some good training in, and then I'm still undecided about where I want to go in the summer in terms of whether I'm going to go and do the Zofingen World Champs long distance or not. Really need to think about what I want to do there. I think logistics at the moment, I might see if I can travel with somebody, because I'm just a bit unsure about travelling, more so sort of getting from the airport to the town where the race is, or the city where the race is, so I'm going to do a little bit more research on that. If not, I'm going to focus on some world qualifiers during the summer, and then maybe look towards the World Champs in Australia, probably in January. And in terms of the middle and long distance the middle distance duathlon, which I was going to do this year, they've both been postponed to next year, so I've already got entries for that for 2024, so it might be this year that I just focus on getting some good TTs in, see if I can get that 20 minutes, another 30 seconds to find there, so a bit of position work, some more strength and conditioning, and see if I can get closer to that. And my 5k times have been coming down year by year from sort of 16:50, 16:29. I was down to 16:18 last year, so hopefully I can get some quick 5Ks in through the summer and see if I can get close to that as well. So yeah, we'll see how things are going. Hope everyone's training well. If you can, like the video, subscribe to the video, and hopefully I'm going to do a short video on the new sort of Factor race bike, which is in the background. Hopefully I'll be doing that over the next couple of weeks, giving you a bit more of an insight into the bike, what that's like to ride, and how I found that over the last sort of few months. Haven't ridden it too much. I think it's the third race I've ridden it today, but I'll give you maybe a bit of a tour of the new Factor Hanzo and some insight into that. But look forward to seeing you all soon.